দিয়ে দেবে আমার একটা বন্ধু, তখনই ডিসকাস করে নেবো। তার ঠিক আগে হতে মানে 1 ঘন্টা মিনিমাম, তার আগে পরে +5 মিনিটস এদিক ওদিক, মানে however the conversation আর হয়ে যায়, বক বক করতে করতে হয়ে যায়, ট্রাস্ট মি। হ্যাঁ মানে কিক অফের আগে শেষ করলেই হলো। অর্ধেক তো বাইরে থাকে। হুম। হ্যাঁ, তার উপর আইশো স্পিড ওয়াজ আইসিং অন দ্য কেক। কেমন লাগলো ওকে? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, শুরু করছি, ঠিক আছে? এটা মাঝখানে আইশো স্পিড রেটার তুলে নেবো। চলো, 3, 2, 1। Hello and good evening. Welcome back to Netflix Football HD. I am smiling, but my heart is not because Brazil and Japan both are out of the World Cup, which essentially means sadness, dukh, dard, pira, and pet mein kira. We'll go into the Brazil schematics in a bit, but right now the match in focus is Portugal against Spain. Probably the first big hitters when they have come across together, and today we have none other than an old face returning. Uddipto Dutta, you're on screen right now. He has just come back, just literally come back from the US watching the last Portugal game. He's also watched Brazil. And he has a video with iShow Speed as well, if I'm not mistaken. Cheeky bastard.
Oh, oh yeah. First of all, it's great to be back. And yeah, hi everyone. I'm sure you're all excited for the game. So am I. And yeah, I just came back. I went to watch, Portugal and Brazil, both their games. The Portugal against Uzbekistan and Brazil against Scotland. It was a crazy experience. And Neil just mentioned, I think the craziest part was that Aisha Speed was there right outside the stadium making content, and it was a really great experience to meet him, be a part of the content, and then to watch Portugal have their most convincing performance yet against Uzbekistan. Yeah, so it was incredible, and we're just hoping for similar great performances from the entire team today.
Ah, great performance against Uzbekistan. I remember Alexi Lalas there going. So you know the media. So it's being the World Cup is in the US. Florian Balgun has just been stripped of a red card, God knows how. And then Alexi Lalas was there. I remember he saying that statement, which stung a bit to me, honestly, saying that anyone can say that they are back if it's against Uzbekistan. Now, you and I both have followed Cristiano Ronaldo for decades. Not even, that's not singular. For 2 whole decades.
Yeah.
That man is a legend. But right now, his body probably doesn't hold up as much. And honestly, I suffer watching Portugal play, not because Ronaldo, because if you give him the ball, he's going to bloody finish. But the amazement of riches that Portugal have, Vitinha, Bruno, Joao Neves, and others to name of it. Do you think, especially the quartet of players from PSG, having won back-to-back Champions Leagues, has actually raised that everyone wants to be the main man now? Nobody looks at Cristiano Ronaldo. Was the earlier way more successful, where everyone used to okay, we have the greatest in the world whom we passed and he'll score.
Mhm.
Right now, do you see something different in this Portugal team? Why is it not working? Is it just Martinez?
No, I don't think so. And you brought up a very good point. Is that Portugal's strategy most of the time, especially if you have Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime, it was always to play to him, right? Like Argentina does, they plays through Messi, and
Mm-hmm.
Portugal always played to Ronaldo. I mean, it has got them success. I mean, Portugal never won anything before Ronaldo was, who he was, right? And they have won 3 major titles under when Ronaldo has been playing. So it has worked for sure, but and international football, as you know, like it's very different from club football as well. Like in club football, everybody has a defined roles, and they have all throughout the year to practice all the tactics and everything. So in most of the games, I've seen very basic tactics. So I know Roberto Martinez isn't like the greatest person, tactically, but he has got success. Like he beat Man City
Greatest person
with.
tactically. He's the worst. Come on. You can be
Yeah,
not
I
be
am trying to.
diplomatic.
I am trying to give him his flowers. I mean, he has one, like that's what I'm saying. Like he has won titles. He has outsmarted Pep in the past. If we remember that FA Cup final, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so he has won stuff. Like again, like he flopped badly with Belgium's team. So yeah, I mean, I don't think his tactics are like anything to write home about. But what I think he definitely needs to do better is use the amazing midfield that Portugal have assembled. Uh, it's just that I feel that Portugal have to use the like they.
We just lost audio, Uddipto Dutta. We just lost audio. Just a sec. I think we lost audio. So can you hear me? Not if you can. Yeah, wait. Let me just call you back. Wait. Yeah, I think you're back. Yeah, go on.
Oh, awesome. Hey, sorry guys, I don't know if it's the internet. So yeah, I
Roberto
what I was
Martinez taking
saying, right,
control
is
of the
that
internet.
Roberto Martinez. I just started to criticize him and he messed up. But yeah, I mean I see I was actually in the Niagara Falls when Portugal were playing Croatia, and I could hear both sides, US and people from Canada, they were like celebrating when Ronaldo scored, and it was just the craziest thing. And he somehow lucked his way into this round. I don't think any of his tactics or subs were on point. Like people are saying that, yeah, it's good that he took Ronaldo off, but you can't take Ronaldo off, and I mean you can play him and Gonçalo Ramos together if needed. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think tactically he has been good. It's just that like what I was saying is that Portugal have to find a way to use the amazing midfield that they have, because yes, Spain have fantastic midfielders, but I don't think there's any team that has got a midfield as in form and as talented as Portugal's. Because Bruno Fernandes, João Neves, and Vitinha, you cannot assemble a better midfield at the moment in the world right now. I don't think you can. So yeah, their play has to go through these players, and of course Ronaldo still has it. He showed it against Uzbekistan. If you give him the chance in the box, he'll score. So yeah, we just have to Portugal have to be more brave and use the midfield more. That's what I think. Yeah.
Brave is a very good word that you've used, because I've seen that Portugal team just not into the game. Bruno Fernandes is looking clueless after becoming the player of the season, and he has been carrying Manchester United for a long, long while. So he's the last player when I think it's clueless. And the lineups also have been hit or miss, where you've played Pedro Neto, who clashed with Nuno Mendes' position. Then Joao Felix, even Rafael Leao had a fantastic game the other night. But if I switch to Spain, and the statistics tells me that Spain in 4 matches that they've played till now have scored 8 goals. What's important is they've conceded none. I know they've not faced as good opposition, but we've seen in the tournament how, let's say that, for the lack of a better word, the lesser known sides have came and taken the games to all the big hitters in this World Cup. And now, over a 3-0 comfortable win over Ralf Rangnick's Austria, right now, it's the headlines would be Yamal versus Ronaldo, but I would definitely say it's midfield versus midfield. Spain, with their amazing, they've always been known for midfielders. They play the passes, they run the tempo. But I've seen the lack of cohesion, especially when Rodri is playing. I do not see that dominance that Rodri used to have pre his injury, right? And Pedri, they always keep shuffling with the Dani Olmo, sometimes playing up top, sometimes playing in midfield. What would you feel if you go into matchups 1v1? So there's John. I still haven't got the lineup. So if anybody has the lineup, do leave that on the chat. So what I predict is Pedri is going to go up against Joao Neves, if that's man for man. Vitinha will be up against Rodri. They might switch, and Bruno Fernandes will be left up on his own, and Dani Olmo probably starts as the number 10. How
Yeah.
key is the midfield battle tonight? Does it shape the game?
Oh, like I don't think we can stress enough. I think the game, like games typically are won and lost in the midfield, and more true for Portugal because they, I think, pretty much they have the two best midfield, assemblies of the two best midfield trios in the world. If you go by just man to man, like you just said. But the only thing is that I think it's more about rather than who they're playing because I watched the first game. You alluded to the fact that Spain haven't conceded. Like the game is Spain between and Cape Verde, right? The game which pretty much put Wojciech in the final. I watched the game from top to bottom, and I think again the same problem with Spain is that they don't have a focal point. Like Mikel
Mhm.
Oyarzabal, yes, he does play up front, but he is not the person that is going to put like any fear in any defender's hearts. So
Right.
I don't think like he's going to do that. And so the focal point of the attack, I know Spain have traditionally played that in the past, but at this moment, I think that's the main problem that Spain are playing a lot of passes, but it's the final pass that who they're going to pass to, that's going to be a main challenge. And Portugal have a slightly different problem, I feel, is because their midfield will try to create chances in and around Ronaldo, but it's just that
Mhm.
whether they can have the cohesion in play between them, that they can have the understanding. And obviously, Neves and Vitinha, they have it because they play for the same team. And like Bruno, like as we all know, that being Man United fans, I'm wearing a Man United kit right now. Bruno has to be given that license, that freedom to just play the passes. You can misplace many passes, but we know what a chance creating machine Bruno Fernandes is, right? Like we all saw that
Has he
clip
been
where they talk
underutilized a
about the number
lot?
of. Oh yes, for sure, for sure. I think uh, he has been like told to be more of a system player, more to keep a better possession of the ball, which one Bruno does struggle with. I understand, but Bruno is a creative monster. Like you have to give him the license to just do what comes naturally to him. So I think if they can do that, then they can really hurt Spain because we know how creative Bruno can be, and it doesn't really matter
Absolutely.
who they're playing against. So Bruno can always create chances. So it's just about giving him the license. So
I'll take a
definitely
few
the focus will
comments.
be on the midfield.
There's
Yep.
some pretty interesting comments. So Super Sunny says
Oh,
prayers will be answered. So hopefully, depends on what you're praying for. Kunalji, thank you for joining in. He said, "Wow, did you dance in the Niagara Falls like Preeti Zinta? Did you though?"
well, when the game was so crazy. I mean, it was like 12 minutes of stoppage time, and I wish I had better nerves to actually start dancing, but I was a nervous wreck. I just wanted Portugal to win, man. So I wish I
Here
could,
to
but
here to smile says, "Will Portugal be able to win the World Cup?" That's a meme question, right? I'll have that answer in the predictions. So you just wait for that
sure.
segment. Kunal also says, if Portugal wins, it will be worse than Arsenal winning the UCL if they ever did. Oh God, the Arsenal memes are not just going away.
Bro, bro.
Okay,
See, Kunal, I just had one comment on that. Like, I don't think there can be any fan base which can be as insufferable as Arsenal's. Like, I have some very good friends who are Arsenal fans, but this I'm sure they'll also agree. So you're at a class of your own, guys,
oh
Arsenal fans.
God. Okay, the lineups here are here. So, Diego Costa starts in goal. Joao Cancelo, Ruben Vega, Ruben Diaz in the defense. Nuno Mendes at left back. Joao Neves, Mitinia in that defensive midfield role with Bruno Fernandes. Pedro Neto, interestingly, starts wide right. Ronaldo and Rafael Leao complete the Portuguese 11. Spain, on the other hand, Unai Simon, Marco Curella, Laporte, Cubarsi, and Pedro Porro. Pedri, Rodri, Olmo as expected. Alex Baena, Oyarzabal, and Lamine Yamal. The two main men, Lamine Yamal and Ronaldo. But I think
Yeah.
let's have a discussion about Alex Baena. I think he's bloody bang average. So if you have a Nico Williams, who's maybe not there yet, but again, you mentioned system players.
Yep.
While I say average, he's not flashy. He doesn't go on dribbles like a Vinicius Junior. Again, for my fellow Brazil fans, I'm sorry, like for everyone, but that's for another day. But Alex Baena, decent season
Yeah.
in La Liga. Does he deserve to start in that left wing slot? Like you could have easily played the likes Like I don't know what substitutes they have, but is he holding Spain back from that left side?
I do think so, yeah, because I think Nico Williams is probably their option on the left. But like again, I bring up the Cape Verde game because that really did show a lot. I think where Spain are lacking is just that they had a lot of possession, but I didn't think they looked threatening even for 5 minutes in that game. They didn't have the attacking, the impetus that you need, the creativity that you need. It's good holding the ball, but you need that person that that can actually drive your play forward, that can actually put the fullbacks on their toes. And yeah, but I don't think Alex Baina does that. Like you mentioned, Neil, I think Alex Baina, he's probably good at holding the ball, just I mean, just being a good steady hand on the pitch. But I don't think the exact opposite thing is with Yamal, because Yamal may not always be the greatest at keeping the ball because he's going to try stuff. Exactly like I was talking about with Bruno. Like these people, allow them the chance to show their creativity, to show their talent. And Baena, I don't think he's going to put any nightmares on any defenders. It's just that yeah, I mean, well, we'll see. Hopefully it's good for Portugal that it doesn't cause him too much of a problem.
Yep.
But as a Portugal fan, yeah, I'm happy to see him start.
So Portugal Portugal fans are happy in the chat. But like about Alex Baena, so he's basically what Spain emphasize with midfielders. It's control, control, and control. So I have never seen him beat a man in this entire World Cup. The amount of minutes that he's played. Prove me wrong in the chat. The discussions open, but whenever I see him receiving the ball, and this is a like trend for all wingers, except like the anomaly being Lamine Yamal, just opposite to what he is. He gets the ball, he either passes back or he puts in a cross. No 1v1 take-ons, no chance creations. He just focuses on that overload that they create with Dani Olmo and Oyarzabal coming in. But he has been decent. I think he provided the assist for Oyarzabal. I'm not sure if it was offside, but that was a brilliant ball that they had. But what I feel is that it restricts Marc Cucurella's game a lot because they are occupying the same position, especially exactly what we've seen when Pedro Neto started left wing in the first game for Portugal. Him and Nuno Mendes could not just combine. And Alex Baena, he cuts in, but not. There's very little shot creating actions that Portugal have from that left hand channel of Spain, and Spain have shot creating actions from that left hand channel against Portugal. And I, especially if I am a Spain fan, or I love watching Spain, I would definitely see that the right back Joao Cancelo, not one of the best defenders. Ruben Diaz always has a mistake in him. He goes way too aggressive, leaves space behind, and like Renato Veiga, I don't think he's a defender first and foremost. He's a central defensive midfielder playing makeshift because he's left-footed. And like Roberto Martinez trying to bring out his own Pacho in that team so that Nuno Mendes can play well. But I'd be concerned if actually Nico Williams comes on in the last halves of the game. Yeah. Definitely that would be a concern. But needless to say, if I switch back to Portugal again, I remember the match against Croatia. It was hectic. It was just hectic, end to end. Oh my God. So many controversial decisions, offsides, not offsides. Like I had lost count. And kudos to
can't script this.
You can only script red cards being chalked off just before the match if you're a certain president of a certain country. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Like, you've just returned from the US, right? What are your thoughts on Florian Balg? Isn't it hilarious? Like, how is this allowed to happen? Come on.
I mean, the first thing that I noticed, when I was in New York City and I went to watch Madison, went to Madison Square Garden and the places around that. So they have these transit facilities available. Mm-hmm. So, and that's like pretty much the starting point for anybody looking to go into the New York Stadium, right? The MetLife Stadium. So, like there they have all these bands where basically what I saw and basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of delusion in the US that their team is actually very good, that they can maybe go all the way. But I almost felt like going up to somebody and telling them that, dude, you guys are not going to win. Just, it's okay supporting your team. And it's okay, trying to do whatever you can to give them the best possible performance. They are promoting them as much as possible, but you're just an average national team. There's no way way. They've got no chance against the big hitters. Like, probably they're gonna get a reality check pretty soon once they come up against Belgium. They might find a way to get past Belgium because Belgium
Yeah,
always
it's
underperform. This
not the
is
same
not even
Belgium.
their golden generation team, right? Exactly. Yeah. So they couldn't do much with the golden generation. This is pretty much them on their last legs. But still, I would fancy them to win against USA because they definitely have more experience. But yeah, I think overall in the US, the it was great to see the energy and like even though soccer is not that popular there, but everybody is like really passionate and trying to support their team. But I think there's a lot of delusion and stuff going on that they can actually do good, but I don't see them doing much beyond this point. So yeah.
Yeah, so delusion and presidency candidature is very
Oh
synonymous.
yeah.
I'll not go into controversy. I do not want FIRs against me. Samay Raina with his latent comeback has already enough. But yeah, talking about delusion, I want to highlight Rafael here because he was written off before the tournament as that beta Rashford kind of a syndrome where he cannot dribble, he doesn't have pace, falls too often. We still see a lot of that in recent games, but the quality on is never questionable. He whips in balls
For
with
sure.
immaculate accuracy, and we've seen that, and especially his combination play with Nuno Mendes has been absolutely excellent. The strong runner. And I think Pedro Porro might have his hands full tonight. So I did not. So Spain opted with Marcos Llorente for better half of the tournament. They still have kept clean sheets. But I expect Bruno to actually overload that side because Pedro Porro wanders a lot and he can
Yep.
leave gaps behind. And he's not the best 1v1 defender. Do you think, I'll go on to Spain next, but for now, I spoke about Spain's left hand side, Portugal's left hand side.
Mhm.
Ronaldo likes to play off the left. He drops into those channels. Leao is there. Nuno Mendes will pop up. Vitinha will pop up, still gliding through midfield. And Bruno will be always be in and around. Bruno is everywhere, so you cannot just discount that. So
Yeah.
he's like Mashkabari of Bengali households. He's just he'll be everywhere. So do you think from a tactical
Oh.
perspective that Portugal tonight would play
Mhm.
on overloads? Like, is Roberto Martinez that not delusional enough to actually exploit that?
Bro, I really hope so. I really hope that happens. And one thing I really liked with Rafael Leao's reintegration into the team is that, like we were saying, that for Spain is just the opposite. Is that Bayern and Cucurella, they kind of both try to just keep a hold of the ball and not do anything like creative or something that could cause the opposition problems. But Rafael Leao, they're both very direct players. And Rafael Leao actually, when obviously he first burst onto the scene, he had everything to play as a wide as an inside forward, right? So he's
Mhm.
6'2", I think almost, and he's strong and he has a great shot on his right foot, and like he's explosive. He's got as well. Like he has scored so many crucial goals for Portugal as well in the Nations League and in other matches, as well as his attacking input is just second to none in the world right now in terms of if you're looking at the left backs. So like I think Nuno Mendes will have his task, will have his hands full. He'll have to contend with Yamal as well as make the most of his attacking input. And on the
Yeah,
Portugal
as
side, if
Rafael
we're
Leao doesn't drop back to defend
looking
that
at
much. That is a problem.
exactly, so he'll have his hands full. So Nuno Mendes, but I think he can do it because if anybody can do it, it's Nuno Mendes. He definitely is the best right back in the world, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, he'll have his hands full, but Portugal's main attacks, I'm guessing, will come from the left hand side. And again, like you just said, Bruno will have to look for those spaces that Pedro Porro will inevitably leave when he goes on his wandering runs up front. And I really hope they can exploit that and they can put some balls into the box and Nuno Mendes can pop up with another goal just like he has done, or maybe Rafael Leao can score another banger like he did against Uzbekistan. So yeah, I'm just hopefully that's what happens. So we'll see.
Hopefully, we're talking about fullbacks, and let's talk about the end product a bit. So, Spain actually have proved to the world that modern football does not need like a strong number 9 anymore. And on the contrary,
Mhm.
you see a Harry Kane doing what he does, brilliant, brilliant,
Oh, yeah.
and then you see Erling Haaland doing what he did again, sinking the hearts of Brazil. And the lack of a potent proper number 9 has haunted teams. But Spain in this system, Mikel Oyarzabal, I know he is not the household name that everybody loves to talk about. He's not one like the poster man, or the poster. I cannot call him a poster kid, the poster guy in a kid's bedroom. But
Yeah.
he has been effective. What I feel wonderful about him, so in contrast to Portugal's star-studded attack, is that he's low key. He understands space and he pops up in probably all the right positions that you expect him to be. Mikel
Yep.
Oyarzabal for club and country, I think, has he's got an incredible ratio. So I was seeing that he has scored for country, I think 17 games in the last 15 or 16, 17 goals in the last 15 or 16 games. And that is like really breathtaking if you consider him not to be a striker at all. And he just plays like Spain have traditionally played that false nine so much they have stopped producing top quality strikers. The only one that comes to mind is Ferran Torres. He had a good season with Barcelona, but again, he is primarily a winger. Samu of FC Porto is probably the only traditional striker, but I think he's out injured. Put that, like, Portugal defend very well in terms of a unit. I've seen what I am afraid of Portugal is whenever they get caught in transitions, you do not actually
Yeah.
like have hope because their defensive reshuffling whenever they are coming back from a into a defensive transition is really poor. But when they defend as a solid unit, they are more than reliable. They can deal with like most attackers on the pitch. And the lack of physical presence, do you think is going to haunt Spain tonight?
I couldn't going to hamper them because I was just talking about this with a bunch of my friends who also went to watch the World Cup there, and we were talking about that, right? For what are Portugal's chances and what are Spain's biggest drawbacks. I think the last time the Spain had a proper striker was Diego Costa. I don't count, all the others that they've experimented with, and like Alvaro Morata. I don't even rate him as a footballer, let alone a striker. So, I mean, he's probably one of the reasons why I managed to win the Nations League. And like the moment, if you remember, the moment he came up to take the penalty, I was quite relaxed. I knew that he was going to miss. He just looked like somebody who's going to miss, So yeah, I don't
How do you
rate him
look
at all.
like
So
somebody
Diego
who's going
Costa,
to miss? Come on, how do you define that?
it's just I don't know. I have this. I don't know. Whenever it looks like you like there are people who are like extremely nonchalant. There are people who are like extremely nervy, extremely confident. But it's just that Alvaro Morata looks like somebody who's going to mess up in some way or the other. So I already always have faith in him. I was so sad to not see him included, in this Spain squad. But yeah, I mean, Spain have always struggled with that. It's just going to be interesting to see that because I don't think Spain are going to put in too many crosses because they don't have physical presence in the box. I don't think that's what Portugal have to deal with too much. But it's probably going to be those, one-touch plays, those runs from the midfield that they're going to have to be very, very careful with. Again, Vitinha and João Neves, I'm sure they are very well equipped to deal with that because they did that with Arsenal and then in the entire Champions League. So just have to be very, very careful runs from deep, maybe from somebody like from Pedri or Oyarzabal. That's what Oyarzabal does a lot. He always pops up
Third
in
man runs,
those
yeah.
in those exactly, yeah. It pops up in those difficult to deal with positions. That's what Portugal have to be really, really wary of. That you can't let him just ghost into your defense. I hope that they're able to do that. But otherwise, I don't think there are too many avenues that are available for Spain to score apart from these runs and one-touch plays. So yeah, I hope that Martinez can see that, and I hope he will set up the team to too much about the threat that Oyarzabal poses, uh, if they're able to deal with these situations. So that's what I would say, man.
It's gonna be an interesting game, that. And you talked about Spain's midfield. Let me come back into the jersey you're wearing, the player.
Yeah.
Our Portuguese Magnifico, Bruno Fernandes. So he has been world class. So you do not see Roy Keane praising you after just after the spat that they had. But jokes aside, Bruno Fernandes, 21 record Premier League assists. You do not do that in a fluke. And for the last 5 seasons, he has always been Mr. Manchester United. So anyone, I think after Wayne Rooney, I think he has picked up the mantle. and but he sees a lost player for Portugal. So this World Cup, so his performances are not even par. It's way below par. I don't know if it's the position he's playing. You touched upon like how the he's not a system player, but Bruno Fernandes, I remember in an Amorim system, he struggled, but he knows to play the position. So he's a very good player who thinks on his feet and adjusts to any system. And he's been played number 10. And most of all, before Rafael Leao started, I think he's been asked to play that support striker role to actually make the runs that Cristiano is not going to press. And you press with Bruno, and Cristiano is going to cover the spaces. But is his big game performances like he's the face of the Premier League now? Let's face it. There's no Kevin De Bruyne anymore. There's no Eden Hazard. There's no Mohamed Salah. It's Bruno Fernandes and only Bruno Fernandes. But is his leadership like you consider Vitinha, you consider Cristiano, you consider Nuno Mendes, you consider Rafael Leao, so many big players who are created individual brilliance. But is especially Bruno's leadership and delivering in knockout football is it concerning for you being a Manchester United and a Portugal fan?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been the same. He can be very erratic. He can ghost in some of the big games. But to be honest, I never am concerned about Bruno, because Bruno is just that creative spark that you cannot replicate at all, and you can creativity that this man has. Like even like it's one of my I guess hottest takes. I just feel that the number 10 role is almost extinct in football nowadays. You see very few proper number 10s left in the game right now. Like there was a time when we had Ozil, Bruno, and you had Kevin De Bruyne. And you had so many incredible number 10s in the world playing at the same time. But nowadays you find very few. Like most of them are either asked to come back deep or basically play as a second striker. You saw with Bellingham, he plays in a different way with Real Madrid than he does with
Correct.
England. He's like one of the last remnants of proper number 10 role. Yes, he is very industrious. He does work very hard. He will help out with the defense, but that's not what you look to Bruno for. Like if he's not assisting, if he's not contributing to the goals, I don't think they get too much out of Bruno. So I think the best way to use Bruno is to just give him the license and just express himself as much as he can. I hope he's able to do that today. And it's not about the system and everything. Bruno has never been that player. He will never be that player, but will always be the player who will create goals. And I think that's what Roberto Martinez and Portugal need to allow him the freedom to do so today. So really hoping that this is the game that Bruno shows what he's capable of, because he's done it in the league in the world. I think he can do it in Spain too. So yeah, I'm quietly confident. I'm not concerned about it.
Yeah, and the ability is never in question. So you remember Cristiano's second goal against Uzbekistan, that weight of the pass on that ball, magnificent. And on the other side, Lamine Yamal coming back of an injury.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Neil. But just about those passes that you're talking about in the Uzbekistan game, right? A lot of passes that he played, which are those dinked lob through passes, which are so difficult to pull off, the weight of these passes, And the Portugal are really unlucky that they didn't score more. But I'm really looking to Bruno to come up with kind of passes, bypass the defense, because they are very good in terms of holding their positions, and I hope they can utilize that. So just that last word on that. Yeah, I hope that happens.
I do hope so too, because I would want a Bruno masterclass to be remembered. Like the man deserves all the bloody praise in the world that he's not getting. But I sincerely hope that he has a banger tonight. Like I'd love him to score his signature long ranges that Eric Ten Hag famously asked him not to do. But fingers crossed on that one. I can see the tension on your face. Yeah, and on the other side, Lamine Yamal, the face of the youngsters in the world, Ballon d'Or runners up at 18, and he's not even 19. Let that hit. He's not even 19, and he's already considered like the top 3 players in world football, and rightly so. He's a bag of talent. All the bad rumors aside, right? So he's come into this squad with an injury, and clearly we can see not as mobile as he wants to be. He's playing with something. But tonight I think that battle with Nuno Mendes, like we've seen that in the Champions League, that was one very good battle to watch. If Yamal actually turns up the heat, I think he's always been played in second gear, and Spain need him to turn up the heat tonight. Would you think it would limit Nuno Mendes's like bombarding up front, like what he's best at? Do you think it's going to be a battle that we are going to look forward time and again? Because Spain usually play through the right. Whenever their attacking thread is to the right, Alex Baena is just like passing back so that Yamal gets the ball. Like, in a way, is it Yamal and Inshallah? It's very bold of me to say that. But would you agree it's Yamal and Inshallah for Spain at times?
I would agree, yes. And at times, I think it is a much better tactic than what their usual is, which is like just, keep passing the ball till next year arrives. Or
Keep passing the ball till Arsenal win the Champions League.
Well, then you got to do it forever. So I think that's this your death by a million passes. So I think at times it can help. But again, I think for manage or anything, we are all just fans. We just watch and consume as much football as we possibly can. So I think for Portugal, it's going to be in terms of their defensive side of the game. I think we all know what's coming from. Like Yamal is going to be the main threat. They're not going to put too many crosses into the box. They're mostly going to try to find these runs into the box and trying to find their men and in good positions. And I just hope that Nuno Mendes can win this battle against Yamal. Be their main outlet, but I think Nuno the season. I think he's the best of the best in the Champions League. We saw in Bayern, right? I mean, it was just incredible, and so he has dealt with people like Olise and like the best wingers that are out there. So I don't think it's something that Nuno Mendes would be. Whether it's going to limit attacking output, I would say he can just, that's where the management comes into the picture. Roberto Martinez has to be very, very clear about the fact that if Nuno Mendes does go on his signature runs up front, then somebody from, like John, because if he, each things that Nuno Mendes is tasked with are extremely crucial to Portugal. That's what I feel, like whether it's his attacking talent or dealing with Yamal. So I don't think they can choose between the two, but it's just that they, as a team, they have to try to make the most of the situations that they can create.
And that's a very interesting. That's a very interesting take, because we often, like, the statisticians want to like highlight that there's going to be a midfield battle, but I do think both teams will try to break fast, because Spain, they'll keep hold of possession. We know that. And Portugal are very much actually adept in keeping hold of possession, and probably will, for the first time in the World Cup, where two big hitters is going off, we'll see sparks fly, and we'll not see deep blocks. We'll not see people defending as their life depends on it. Like when my manager gives me a task at the 9th hour, like I'll not get into trouble. But we will see an open passage of football, and a remnant of that is when these two teams faced off last time in the World Cup. It was a fantastic 3-3 draw. Like, probably one of the all-time classics in World Cup football, and Cristiano with a hat-trick with scoring that magnificent free kick. And do you think that this game has, with all its hype, like, it can go in any way? If they decide this can be a banger, this will be a banger. While Spain has not conceded that much, they can concede. We've seen that they still don't have that level of experience to actually, and I've not seen them face that caliber of a team. And if Portugal want it, they can score n number of goals. If everybody decides today we are playing for the nation and not for the name on the back of our shirts, but for the front of it, Portugal can actually be a menace. And I do feel that every game is won and lost in midfield, Portugal can utilize second balls a lot, which Spain cannot because of the lack of physical presence. They'll try to recycle around. And you would be wise enough, if Portugal want to do the dark art stuff, they'd probably frustrate Spain and break them out of the rhythm. That's like not exactly what they did in the 3-3, but a part of it. That's the mind games that comes with it, right? Uh, bit of a predict,
Yep.
bit of a predict. Going into the predictions, would you think that this game has the hype? For all the hype and caliber, would this be a snooze fest at a 0-0 draw, or would this be as magnanimous as a 3-3 and going down as an all timer like last time?
I do think this has the potential to be an like one thing that being a Portugal fan as well that I have seen like in this World Cup is that Portugal do try to play like a B grade version of Spain in their heyday. Like they're looking so I think both Spain and Portugal have realized after their respective draws in their first games that tactic is not going to work. They have to be more direct, and we all know that with the attacking as well as midfield and overall talent that these two sides have, if they do decide to go direct, be incredible teams. So I do think they're going to be quite direct. Yes, you won't probably see it from the very first minute because they're going to each try to feel each other out and see how the game is going. But overall, I think the main tactic would be to be more direct. I saw that marked change in Portugal when they played Uzbekistan in the second game. Against Colombia, they
Mhm.
tried, but Colombia were just so like aggressive with their tackling and with winning the ball back that they struggled with. But Portugal and Spain, like each of them, they're pretty similar in their skill sets, in the way that they approach the game. But so if they do decide to approach it in a direct fashion, I think it's going to be a heck of a game. Like what you said, the last time they played each other, that performance from Cristiano Ronaldo, in my opinion, is in the top three best individual performances in a World Cup ever. It was just like Ronaldo against Spain. It was just unbelievable. I mean, you can't ask for anything more.
Your
So I would
network's
be
gone
like,
again.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
back.
I'm here. Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
back.
When I start to criticize Portugal, that's when my network goes off. When I start to praise them, that's when my network goes off as well. I don't know. I should be in the middle somewhere,
So,
maybe.
like, I'm sure you
But
need to check your bags for a tracker. So, you've been in the US, right? You might have been bugged, my friend. See, the network's bloody gone again.
oh my goodness. Oh, oh my God.
You're back. You're back.
I don't
Okay.
know what to do, man. Am I back? Am I back? All right.
You're back.
Oh God. Yeah.
Before we let you go,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
think half an hour go on to kick off. So I want so before I ask you a question, I'd give you my predictions. I think this is going
Yeah.
to be a 0-0 or a 1-1. So it's a score all draw because, as you said, very similar in terms of how they approach games, while their output is very different because Spain play with a false nine trying to dominate and crowd the midfield. Portugal will try to play direct, but they'll end up cancelling each other out. So either it might be a very, very high scoring match where all hell breaks loose, or this just might be another back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I do wish and do hope that both the teams actually turn up and we see the best versions of, like, Cristiano, right? So, like, we have our mixed emotions about them. Me, like,
Oh.
I'll not go into that depths of it, but thinking about the fact that essentially this just might be his last World Cup game actually gives me shivers. That we have seen the man growing up, we have grown up, we've seen the man growing up, and we have grown up seeing him, and still he's playing, scoring goals at the World Cup, and he's the captain of his side, leading the team. How much of it is from a mental perspective, that considering that this any at any moment of time this just might be his last match, last time he said it, right, that this is going to be the last tournament that he's going to like dawn on, like, I my voice broke just saying that, thinking that this is going to be the last time we dons the, like, maroon and green in national colors, like, era legend, of course. But if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, what is going on through your mind right now?
I mean, I have kind of been living in denial, I would say, honestly, ever since the World Cup ended. began the dream at any time. And yeah, I think so much to football over just increasing the popularity of the game and just how much he has inspired everybody in and outside of football. I mean, it's just that the impact is immortal, and it's actually poetic that if he does end up winning the World Cup, because Messi has done it as well. Obviously, I mean, their paths and their careers have been on very different paths, different qualities of teams as well historically. But this time Portugal did have a good team, and I still think they have a very good team. But yeah, so I never let myself believe that it's gonna end up that way. I don't think about that too much. I just want to enjoy every single moment that I get to see this man play for Portugal, for any club that he plays. And yeah, man, I just hope that it's good. Like I'm sure that even Messi can relate to this. It was a fairy tale to see Messi finally win the World Cup,
Right.
which he has always deserved. And I'm sure you guys can all empathize with how we fans feel, because this man has meant so much to us, not just as a player, like I said, as an idol, as somebody that you can look up to, as somebody who has shaped all of our lives in some way or the other. So I just hope it can go on for a bit longer, and whenever it ends, I will just be grateful for whatever he has done for the journey. But I really pray, hope, and keep all my fingers and toes crossed that somehow, some way, this fairy tale can come true, and we can actually see this man go all the way this time. So
And
that's
he
what I'm more
deserves
concerned
it,
about.
and he deserves it, because we are lucky to be born in an era where, so there's always been a Pele, a Maradona, a Johan Cruyff, an R9, a Ronaldinho. So we have never had like 7 or 8 Ballon d'Or shared between two players for 20 years. Like Cristiano said, that him and Messi have shared the stage for the last 20 years. And
Yeah.
it's an anomaly that, and that probably happened because both of them decide, like the fate decided that both of them had to exist at the same point of time, and that actually brought out probably more than monsters, they're gods in what they have achieved, and still playing. So all the other names that I said did not even last this long, and it's a feat to us. And the thought of it, eventuality, reality coming and haunting us. So even me, like, even as a neutral tonight, wanting to watch a very good match, I do hope that Cristiano gets that World Cup and we can actually tell our kids, grandkids, and beyond that there were these two World Cup winners. One just does not do justice to one of them winning. It does not do justice to the grand fairy tale that we have all grown up with, and for the very reason that both are into existence. A lot of emotional talk. I know you are nervous. You are hiding. You're very well at hiding that nervous. Like we
Oh
United
God.
fans have actually mastered hiding nervousness for the last 10 years. Like even if we
Absolutely,
bloody
man.
play Fulham, we are nervous before the start of a match.
Oh, oh
It's
God.
in our
For sure,
veins.
man.
It's in our veins.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, key actions. Where do you think the game would be won and lost?
Yeah, I mean, I am just looking forward to a great game, first of all, because many of us thought that this could actually be a little more comfortable, maybe in the semi-finals or maybe even in the final potentially. But we are getting this, like, a bit earlier than expected. I hope the last time that we had the game, it was an all-timer. This time, even if it is not, at least we get to see some good performances from people that we all, love and admire, like whether it's, Yamal, whether it's Ronaldo, whether it's Bruno. And yeah, of course, as a Portugal fan, I would love to see them win at any way possible. But the last game took a lot away from us. I mean, as emotionally, we were all emotional wrecks during and after the game. So I hope it can be a little bit easier on your, heartstrings, on your nervous system, if it's compared to the last game. But yeah, I just hope I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good game, and I just hope it turns out to be a good result for Portugal. And yeah, we can just enjoy seeing Ronaldo, do his thing, and seeing entire all the players like that are in this to probably the
Hopefully.
game. And just I'll give you my predictions as well. To be, I think it's going to be close. It's 40% prediction and 60% hope, but it's just what I'm going to go with.
Uh, Cosmic. So Super Sunny says 3-1 for Portugal. Cosmic coding. I am having palpitations. It is, but
Oh my God.
Uddipto Dutta, thank you so much for joining in on such short notice. Like, it's wonderful having you back. The season is nigh, so the night is young, and I do hope for an all-time classic once more, because we football fans do, for the love of the game more than anything, want to watch one the greatest showdown and to clash, and a clash of titans to have an impact, so that we can tell stories. With all the AI, the originality has actually gone away, and these are the moments that we actually look forward to. Thank you so much again for joining us. Hopefully, we United
Thank you.
have good transfers, and we'll see you back very, very soon.
Yeah.
Hope for a great, great game, man.
Thanks for having me, and thanks a lot. I think let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Bye bye.
I guess.
Okay, so that was Uddipto Dutta with all his might and glory and internet problems. I apologize, because I do not know what is happening, if he has come down with a bug, or if it's my encoding, or if it's my roommate suddenly deciding to come back from office and turn on his laptop and stop my streaming. Jokes aside, we're all working, we're all corporates, and we hope that these things actually bring us towards what we want, salvation in our lives. And we feel that definitely that this is going to be an after image of what we expect. Two of the greatest in the world face off tonight, and I hope this is going to be a great, great game, a great one to remember. Final predictions, I still think this is going to be at the score draw till the 90 minutes, and then nobody can say what's going to happen. But I do hope that this is one of the greatest matches that the world has ever witnessed. Again, if you're here for the first time, thank you for staying all the way till the end. Do hit the like button and do subscribe if you're new to the channel. Tomorrow, it's the other GOAT, and I do hope they do get a chance to face off with each other. Messi taking Argentina, and can they bring up a historic back-to-back finals like France have done? Stay tuned to Netflix Football. I leave you with the best bits of tonight, and I do hope, fingers crossed, that it's going to be an awesome, awesome match. Cheers to football, cheers to life, and a great, great game. Bye-bye. দিচ্ছে চেজার গ্লিচ। না, একটু এটা ফাইন টিউন করতে হবে। ইজ নট জাস্ট ল্যাপটপ, এটা এনকোডারটা পরের দিন আমি